Hello, welcome to a special edition of Tea Time. Today we're going to do our May 2023 Entrepreneurs Energy Report. There were 5 main themes that showed up when I was channeling our entrepreneurial energy report for this month. I think you're going to find these trends really exciting. We are getting out of the rain in the Pacific Northwest, and we're actually having temperatures over 80 degrees. Feels unseasonably warm, but I feel like the energy is saying, hey, get ready because it's going to be a really hot season coming up. I actually really feel like the rest of 2023 is going to be a lot of heating up kind of energy. There's been this slowdown that's happened, whether it's through burnout or people just needing to take a break, but there has been a slowdown, a bit of a pause in how people are making decisions right now. So the first really big theme that came out is that expressing your own natural voice is really important, and learning how to master what your voice is through writing, through speaking, through any other means where you are expressing yourself. It could even be through visual mediums. That counts as well. It can be through the offers that you create. Those are all expressions of your voice. But figuring out your natural expression is really critical at this time. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably been hearing a lot about the rise in AI like ChatGPT. And as these apps and programs begin to rise in utilitarian uses as well as popularity, it's going to be increasingly important to differentiate your true natural expression from the expression of technology-assisted voice. AI is eventually going to start to develop its own creative expression, but people who use AI are going to start sounding a lot alike. That doesn't mean that you don't use those tools and that you can't use them to your benefit, but knowing where your actual original voice comes from and how to activate it when you actually need it is going to be really critical later down the line. You might not notice it immediately right now, but it's one of those things where if you don't develop the skill now and you need to call upon it later, it's going to be too late to start calling upon it if it hasn't been developed later. So now's the time to experiment and practice, like have fun with it. This is a season for fun. We're heading into the summer months here in the Northern Hemisphere. I know I have some of you who are in the Southern Hemisphere, but the energy kind of follows around the globe. It's sort of a collective energy that we're all experiencing right now. So learning to have fun, learning to play with the different mediums and experiment again and feel safe that it's okay to do so is going to be really important. The bottom line is when it comes to expressing your voice, you can't be ready later if you don't start practicing now. Pattern number 2 that came out is the death of toxic masculinity. It's everywhere in the world, but when we're talking about inside our businesses, we're talking about the old methods of growing your audience through sort of bro marketing tactics. That is definitely starting to see the beginning of the end. But very quickly up on deck is also the death of toxic femininity. Those lessons are still coming in. They weren't meant to be part of this month's report. We're going to focus on the death of toxic masculinity for the month of May. I think it's going to start out rather quietly at first, but you're going to start seeing some more public demonstrations of losses of power begin to show up. It's going to show up through probably marketing materials where you'll notice that the language has changed. It seems like someone's really trying really hard. They're just trying just a little too hard. And they're reaching and they're trying to offer different kinds of deals. They're moving into spaces in the industry that they never used to help customers with previously. And you're going to wonder, that's kind of curious. Why are they doing that right now? Now, all this to say that all of us, whatever your gender expression is, whether you identify masculine, feminine, non-binary, or anything else, All of us carry the balances of energies within us, as do our businesses. There is masculine energy and there is feminine energy. And there's also where the Venn diagram is beginning to meet in the middle. There's an increasingly large center in the portion, which is non-binary. It doesn't identify masculine or feminine. So you might see entrepreneurs in the space around you who identify in the feminine expression, suffering from a death of toxic masculinity in their businesses too. You might even be noticing it in your own business through certain particular offers or the way that you have approached how you build your business over time. I would pay attention to where you notice small losses happening in your business. It might not even be actually that big a deal, but it's just the death of an energy that needs to be rebalanced. It's meant to be rebalanced right now. So it could be something like losing followers through different mediums and channels of communication. It might even be like the slowing down of a particular offer in the way that you used to enroll people into that offer. And so the question here becomes, how can you do better? When you look at it for yourself, what feels off? What do you intuitively know needs to be improved? This is the year to improve it. This summer, that finding your expression, your true natural voice is going to help you figure out how to reconnect with everybody while they're also going through this experience. I tend to work with small and mighty audiences, and chances are if you're tuning in with me, you have one as well. I think small and mighty audiences are definitely going to have a major power play coming up in the next few years because customers are wanting to return to a more intimate environment. They want more contact with you. It's truly a really great power position. So when you think about this death of toxic masculinity and very quickly on deck, the death of toxic femininity, I want you to really think in your business mindset how much easier it is to make these changes on a micro level when you don't have a huge vehicle in your business to have to change. Changing really big things in business takes a lot of money, a lot of effort, and takes more time. So you're more nimble when you're small and mighty. So really embrace that this month. The third theme that popped in when I was channeling is how important it is to master audible sounds. In this case, we're talking about things like your vibe. That word gets thrown around a lot, but it has to do with the senses that we're pulling in. It can be visual, it can be sensory, but in this case, this theme this month is all about the auditory part of that vibe check. So the way that we talk about the energetic vibration in business is reflected through the language that you use that is audible around your business. Remember, the overarching theme this month is about finding your natural expression. How do you express yourself? How do you articulate yourself? How do you help people really hear you this month? And in your human expression, how do you improve your sound? The really big question here is, are you audible to your audience or are you silent? Think about it. The fourth theme is all about truth and making choices in favor of truth. This is going to be a hard one because there's a very beautiful nuance in this theme. So in this case, when we say truth, we're not talking about forcing other people to conform to something that we believe in. That expression is still that second theme, the death of toxic masculinity. When you're so convinced that you will die on that hill for that topic or that reason, what we are doing is examining in what way do we properly express actual truth from what we know and what we believe and how we feel, and how we magnetize people into that truth, allowing them to exercise their free will completely so that they can also recognize their truth too. Instead of being told what to do, you allow other people and you hold space for them to recognize that, yeah, I believe that too. And you realize that we're from the same planet. So when I talked about earlier, thinking about the masculine expression being one bubble of the Venn diagram and the feminine expression being the other bubble of the Venn diagram, and then they overlap. And in the middle, there's that overlap section. Well, as these two bubbles come together closer and closer together, that center section gets bigger and bigger. The truth is what lives in that center section. So as this is all coming together, the truth is coming out whether or not we're ready for it. The question this month is, how much of a leader do you want to be in really activating and discovering your own truth? What's your part in it? How responsible are you for it? And in the shadow aspect, where are you digging in your heels? And where is it time to let go, take your foot off the gas, release control just a little bit, and allow the reciprocation to come to you for once? All right, the fifth and final theme is a juicy one. It's all about taking a bet on yourself. This concept came out, I was so surprised at how it showed up in all these little nuggets everywhere, and I realized this pattern is coming in the most interesting of ways this month. I feel like it's a discussion that is going to get louder and deeper as we move through the year. It's the concept of believing that you're worth it, but not expecting someone outside of you to give you that worth and that belief. You know that you're worth it and you're able to make the decision on your own without being prompted to do so. You don't need to be triggered one way or another, positively or negatively, in order to take action. You are willing to take a bet on yourself because you know your truth. Theme number 4, you're able to express it, all the other themes that came before, and you're really working on your healing process as somebody who embodies a truly empathetic business. In business, you've probably noticed this too. There is a sluggishness in sales and in the way people are making decisions. The core of what people are actually taking action on hasn't changed. It's the timeline that has changed. This is true across all different industries, all different size businesses. I'm seeing in a lot of different ways. The offers are fine. The audience is fine. You're fine. And in fact, your ability to serve your clients is more than fine. But as consumers, you will notice the consumer side of you may still be hanging on to a habit in which we're all guilty of being willing to bet on what is outside of ourselves rather than what is on the inside. So ask yourself this month when you consider these themes, what are you willing to take a bet on that comes from within yourself? Pool all your chips. Go all in. Maybe it's something like improving your health. Maybe it's a creative project. Maybe it's self-care and mastering your personal rhythms. As we say around here, you are your best system. Really understanding you, yourself, as your best system. And maybe it's actually investing in that expert who can help you. It could be an investment. It might not be. But remember, you yourself, you are an investment. You are your best system. And so when you take that bet on yourself, whether it's a habit change or it's a purchase or it's an action or it's a decision, or it's a change in your thought process, in your mindset, those are really strong bets that you can take this month. They're going to serve you really well if you can start the process of engaging with them now, not to have to master them right now, but to be able to engage with them. That absolutism thinking is really showing up in all the themes. You've probably noticed it in the past energy reports of the last few months as well. And I really feel like what we're doing as a human collective in our business experiences is learning to see that we exist on a very wide spectrum of gray. It's not just black and white. I hope that they help you as you dive into how you're going to approach the summer season and the fourth quarter. I don't know about you, but my brain is already ideating for 2024, and it's a really exciting picture. There are a lot of really beautiful developments happening with people, and when we can learn to dance with each other through these energetic changes and flows, you're going to find that things start to open up a little bit more. I hope you enjoy the warm weather wherever you're at. Please remember to hit subscribe and the like button. Please remember to turn on that bell so you get little notifications whenever I put out new videos each week. And I would love it if you shared this with your friends. Leave a comment. Tell me about what's happening with you this month. How are these themes showing up for you? How are you navigating them? When we share a little bit more information with each other, you'll be surprised at how not alone you are, and also how well you're doing at the same time. I will see you next week. Remember to stay sensible, be woo, and most of all, be you.